Welcome to Money Matures, guys, the channel where we talk about all things money, the good, the bad, the ugly. Got my boy Jalen Harris on with me today. How you doing, sir?
Doing great. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. I'm excited to have you on. I've been following you in your business journey. I've been following you since me and your dad were coaching your Little League basketball team, but City League basketball team, which I got a really good story I could tell about your dad later, but we'll talk about that later. Russell was my guest on my first podcast. He did an awesome job. This is his son, so we're going to talk about his business today. All right. And so before we get into that, the word of the day today is motivation. Okay. And I'm going to pull out my phone and I'm going to read a couple of definitions. One that was like your basic definition, and then one's was a little bit more in depth. So motivation, the reason or reasons one has for acting or behaving in a particular way, right? That's like your basic definition, right? But I liked this one a little bit better when I read it. Motivation is the internal state that propels individuals to engage in goal-directed behavior. It is often understood as a force that explains why people or other animals initiate, continue, or terminate a certain behavior at a particular time. It's a complex phenomenon, and its precise definition is disputed. The reason I like that is because it gets a little more granular on what motivates us, what motivation actually is and how it's triggered in us, right? But what are your thoughts on motivation?
I think motivation is like going for your goal,
Okay.
like pushing yourself to go for that goal instead of just like giving up on it. And motivation just keeps you going.
Nice. I like it. So speaking of which, you have a business. What's your business name?
HarrisCleaningCo.
HarrisCleaningCo. Nice. So speaking of motivation, what motivated you or propelled you to start that business?
I've been watching a lot of YouTube, Instagram reels, and I just see other people doing these jobs instead of just traditional jobs, like working at a gas station or whatever. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I like to be independent and also have my own creation, kind of.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I feel like I'm talking to somebody older than me right now, and that's crazy work because I wasn't as inspired at your age as you are, bro. So you started this company. You just said you liked more of the independent.
Yeah, definitely.
You didn't want to take the traditional route of like working at a restaurant or a gas station or whatever, the typical stuff that you could do, which again, nothing wrong with that. But so what does independence do for you? Why did you want that versus clocking in somewhere from 9 to 5?
Like I said, it lets me do like my own creation, but also I feel like working on my own, I work harder.
Okay.
And be able to do my own thing and have my own time schedule.
Yeah.
And working on it.
So you like that you can kind of write your own schedule.
Yeah.
That's cool. Cause you're in school right now, right?
In school.
Right.
So I could go around that.
You can go around that. And then what else did you say? You said you like that. You like
creation.
Your own creation. There we go. That's what I wanted.
Yeah.
The creation part. So does it add another layer of motivation because it is your creation, because it is your name on the brand?
Definitely because of my creation. So I will even want to work harder for it. You know what I mean?
I love that. See, that's what I wanted to tie back to because I get off track and I was like, I like how you delivered that part. Like it's your name. It's you started this thing, and so it's up to you to make it look good and make it, and make it successful. And that's awesome. That's awesome, man. So how did you land on this particular, let's pause real quick. For the people who don't know, what services do you provide?
I do window cleaning with the sills and the screens. And then I also do garbage and recycle cans. Like I clean them.
Okay.
Interior and exterior.
Okay. What triggered that? Like what was the
to do the service?
No, just what triggered you to start this windows and screens? Like how did that, and what inspired you to do that?
What inspired me? Like just like cleaning in general. And I thought it was just a good job overall. And I see other people doing it and like that kind of motivated me, but also myself just wanting to go out there and like make my own creation.
Okay. So you saw somebody else doing that and you saw it was, what got you So initially when you started, you just were doing the window cleaning, right?
Yeah.
Which he does my house, ladies and gentlemen, and it's phenomenal. I thought it was going to be, it's way more involved than I thought it was going to be.
Oh yeah,
Like
definitely. It seems like easy work, but it takes a couple hours.
yeah, it's not, yeah, I didn't know what it was, but then once I saw him just going through it, the screens, the window, I was like, man, and then, and then now the problem, I will warn you though, once you have your windows clean like that, you're going to be upset when they get dirty. So you won't have him back again. All right. So the garbage can cleaning came later.
Yeah, it
right?
came later.
What inspired that?
Being able to have more services, more opportunities to invest or just get more money for more tools or anything, and also just having another service in the windows.
Something in your repertoire. Yeah. Do you have any intention of adding others? You don't have to say anything specific, but do you have any thoughts to add other services?
Not the moment, but there should be something soon.
He did my garbage cans too, and I'll tell you this much: you don't realize how much you like that till you have it done. Because the garbage can, you gotta mistreat those things. And when he cleaned, I was like, that look good. Okay, I like it.
What was your first stock that you invested in?
I've had Apple for a long time. I've bought and sold it a lot over the time, but I've had Apple for a while. And my first index fund was actually SPY. So that's another one that I started originally. Aside from like my first actual investment was like a standard 401k with a company I was with, you know what I mean? But my first stock that I personally like invested in, like where I went opened a brokerage account and bought something, was SPY and Apple.
Okay.
Yeah. Apple was really cool. I mean, I just felt like, everybody has it. I think the reason that pushed me to that, I was in the cell phone game for a long time, and I just saw the dominance that Apple had. Everybody had it.
Definitely.
And then once you had one, the ecosystem that they had, the laptops, the tablets, everything. Once you have an iPhone, I just loved how they created this ecosystem where you just kind of got more and more stuff.
Definitely.
And then the watches and the AirPods, and I just felt like it was simple, and they just had such a great ecosystem that I was just like, yo, this is where, I was getting the phones every year. So I was like,
new phone every year.
I think people overcomplicate things when it comes to investing. We want this latest and greatest thing. We don't realize some of the best investments are in our pocket, or in our things we search, or the clothes we buy, or the food we buy. You know what I mean? So, but anyway, yeah, that was my first one. And we've been in a relationship with Apple ever since.
Yeah, I've been trying to get into stocks like after high school. So I'm just like curious about it.
Hell yeah. Yeah, come on, you're on the right channel for that. Plus, I know your dad gets into that stuff. Let me ask this about your business. Was it hard to start? Like, was it like hard to, was it a lot of upfront financial that you had to do? Was it hard to organize? Like,
paying for the stuff in the beginning just to get started. And I was like thinking about it because I didn't know if I was gonna make that money back or be able to invest more.
Okay.
But eventually, getting clients at the very beginning was very hard, but I had a little help, and I started posting on social media like Facebook, Instagram, and that got me going. And then I made that money back, and then now I'm making more, so I can start investing that.
So you said something very interesting there that I think everybody thinks this way. You said correct me if I'm wrong. It sounds like you had a slight hesitation because you weren't sure you were going to make the initial investment back.
Definitely.
Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair.
And that's such a natural hesitation. People do it with stocks too. Like, oh, I don't know if I want to put this in. I don't know, give my money back. Right. We do the same thing. This is what I love about this channel is that, what inspired me to have you on, man, is like watching you start your own business at your age. I mean, you started it when you were 17, right? I know you're now 18, but you started it earlier, right? So just seeing a kid in high school with the motivation to start his own thing, that's pretty cool, bro. I don't know if anybody's told you that. Like, do a lot of your friends ask you, like, ask you about it and how you got started?
I get it.
Right? Well, because you're a leader, bro. That's dope, man. And I want to give you your flowers, bro, because not a lot of kids have that take that step, right? A lot of people stop at the fear of I don't know if I'm gonna get that money back. Yeah. Right. And it's a natural fear, but like you got to push past that.
Yeah.
So that being said, how long did it take you to get your initial investment back, would you say, if you had to guess?
I would guess like maybe a month.
About a month?
About a month.
Okay. So you had to put up your own cash.
Yeah.
And it took you a month to get that back.
Yep.
And then obviously you still got to buy stuff.
Yeah.
And but now you got the bulk of the stuff. So now you're profit.
Yeah. Now
I love it. I love it. You have a lot of overhead? Not a lot of overhead as far as like, do you have to keep a lot of stock of stuff, or do you just kind of buy it as you go?
Just buy it as you go.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Let's ask this question. You had mentioned your first clients. How did you get your first customer? Do you remember?
It was my girlfriend's mom. She knew a person that needed their windows cleaned, and they reached out to me, and I got the job. So that was my first one. And
then how did you grow it? I know you mentioned social media.
Yeah, definitely. So I started taking videos and started posting that I'm doing this now, because when I did my first house, I started taking a lot of videos, and people got to see that. And doing Facebook communities really helped me. And I started getting more clients from that.
Okay, and that's been helping you grow the business?
Yeah, definitely.
Does it get overwhelming sometimes? Do you get a little too busy at times?
One time I did, but not really, because I like to like make a job like schedule. So I have it ahead of time. So I know what I'm doing that day.
So when someone calls you, you say, hey, I'm available. I could do as early as XYZ. So you take
time and everything. Yeah.
Okay. I like that a lot. So you got your first customer from a referral from your girlfriend's mom, right? And then grew it from there. When did you get, how long did you have the window thing open before you started doing the garbage cleaning thing?
Like 4 to 5 months.
4 to 5 months.
Did window cleaning, and then I saw that I could do more services, so I started doing the garbage.
Yeah, you're already there. You're already at the house. We got to think about some other stuff. What else we need?
What motivated you to start this podcast?
I was motivated to start this podcast because I wanted to tell people, whoever is listening, what I wish somebody would have told me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like, I've been a good earner for a long time. I've been in sales most of my life, but I never really had the foundation when it came to, I knew how to work. I knew how to earn money, but I didn't have the financial literacy young enough. And I made a lot of mistakes with my finances because of it. You know, I didn't have a upbringing where my mother could tell me anything. We grew up really poor, and my mother wasn't able to teach me anything about money. She taught me work ethic, you know, and that's a great thing. But the problem is once I got the money, I didn't know what to do with it. Yeah. And so I squandered a lot of it. And so what motivated me to do this channel is, one, I like talking about money, and, you know, even if I'm out there and nobody's listening, I like talking about it. I like learning from people. That's why I have this podcast. I like to learn from people who start businesses. I learned from your father when he does his real estate stuff, and I learned from other friends of mine that do investing. I just want to learn, and I want to teach, and I want to help. And I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but I've read a lot of books, and I've educated myself to a degree where I'm really confident in what I'm doing. And I just wish that I had learned this sooner, you know. So the point of this channel is just to encourage people to save more money, to try to stay out of debt, to not overspend, because those are all the things that I did. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, I've said this before, this isn't some, like, I'm not trying to preach to people. Like, if you don't listen to me now, you're going to remember this conversation later, because you're going to do the dumb shit that I did, and you're going to think to yourself, yeah, Mike said I was going to do this. That's right. Right. And it's because it's human nature. Yeah. You know, we make money. We want to buy cool things. We want to buy cars. We want to buy this. We want to buy that. And it's in our nature to spend money. And so once you understand that, you can start to take control of it and be a better steward of your money, you know? And I think that a lot of people do what I used to do and spend all their money. Even if they make a lot of money, I made a substantial amount of money, and it went out as fast as it came in,
Yeah.
and people used to tell me, oh, you should invest and you should do this and you should do that. But I would ask questions. I'd be like, well, how, what, where?
You didn't know how to.
And they wouldn't tell me.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, is it some secret, or like you telling me to do this, but nobody wants to tell me how? Like, am I on the outside looking in? Like, what the hell's going on there? So eventually I got to the point where I was like, man, screw that. I don't need nobody's help. I can read. So I just started reading books. I mean, as you can see, I've read all of these. I did, like you said, I watched YouTube videos. I watched tutorials in my brokerage account. And I just read, and I just watch financial news, and I just engulfed myself into it. And I turned investing into my sport. I was never really, that great at sports, but I'm pretty good at this because I educated myself.
Yeah.
And I'm still learning every day. I'm not perfect, but that's what motivated me, is I just wish people knew more of this stuff. I have my son, Caden, I have him read these books. He's read 5 of these books, and he continues to read these. He's read more financial books than most grown adults.
Oh yeah.
And the main mission, if nothing else, is that he does better than me. If Caden does better than me, if you do better than me, that'll make my day. You know what I mean? Does that answer your question?
Yeah, definitely.
I like it. Well, speaking of investing, do you save money? Do you do any investing right now? Building your own business is investing.
Yeah.
You're investing in your future, so you're already doing that piece. But outside of that, do you save money? Do you invest in anything?
Yeah, I definitely save money, not into like stocks yet, but just save money like in my bank or whatever, Like, so I don't do a percent, but most of the money I make, I put into like, not a savings account, but I just save it. Because in my head, I'm like, I'm going to save this money, not spend it on like shoes or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And if I need like new tools and stuff, I use that.
Okay. So obviously you got to spend money on your business, right?
Definitely.
So, okay, let me ask you this question. When I was your age, if I got money, it was burning a hole in my pocket. I couldn't wait to get rid of it.
Yeah.
I had to buy something. Why are you different?
I feel like always having like extra money on you just could help you. And like, it's good always to save instead of like just spend on like things you need, like not necessities, but things you want.
Mm-hmm. Were you taught that by like your parents, or are you?
I see my dad, like he's a real estate agent, but I always see him save money and invest, and that kind of like motivated me to do that too.
So you got he was your example.
Even since I was like young, like birthdays, I would save that money. I wouldn't spend it.
Oh, but that's still kind of you too, though, man. That's kind of, so he taught you young though, but even then, he could teach you, but that doesn't mean you have to do it.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool, man. That's cool. So even when you were young, just getting birthday money, you were stacking it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I like it. Well, you'll be a great investor, man. I'm telling you, investing is just being patient and disciplined and just hanging on to stuff for long term. If you start at your age, you could open an account, just throw some money in there and just do little bits at a time. You'd be, by your 30s and 40s, bro, it'd be crazy. And you don't have to do anything crazy, bro. You already have, that's the hardest part, is getting the behaviors of saving money, right? Don't get in, please listen to me. I know your dad's told you this. I'm going to tell you this. Don't get in debt. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Don't do it. Stop it.
Yeah.
Before you think back. All right. Keep saving your money, man, because there's going to be people around you that are buying stuff in there, and you're going to look at them like, man, I got money. I could do that.
Yeah. I wish I had that or something.
Yeah. You could easily, you could easily fall into that trap because you save and you have the money.
Yeah, definitely.
It's very easy for you to be like, oh, I could get that. I could do that. So just keep that focus, man. So when you save, you said you don't do a percentage. Is it just like whatever's left over, you just kind of make sure you put that away?
Mostly. Yeah. And then like, I take like a little percent out of it. I don't do like the calculation.
Yeah.
Just a little percent into like food or whatever I need.
Yeah.
And then the rest goes into like a savings.
Yeah. You just let it chill.
Yeah.
I love it. What would you say to encourage somebody, a young entrepreneur like yourself? What would you say to somebody who wants to start their own business to encourage them to maybe follow in your footsteps?
To not hesitate to do it. Like if you're like wanting to do it, just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah. Basically just do it. Like if you have the motivation and like that's what you really want to do, don't hesitate, don't overthink it. If like, even if it costs money, you'll probably get that back.
Nice. You said don't overthink it. You mentioned earlier about that overcoming that initial fear that you're going to get that money back, right? Was there any other fears that almost slowed you down or stopped you?
The fear of not having like a lot of customers, you know, like people that want you to like clean their windows. Cause like a lot of people don't think about that, you know, like getting their windows cleaned or like garbage, but it's very nice to have them done.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
A lot of people don't think that. So that's why like I was overthinking, like, should I really do this? Should I invest in it? And I went for it and it turned out really good.
That's really good, man. And so talk to the people out there right now about, like, do you have any, I know you have, because you have the two services, and when you started doing My House, you did the one service first and then you did the other service.
Yeah.
Since then you've come up with like a monthly package, right?
Yeah.
Am I right? What is that?
The monthly package is like every month you could get your garbage cans and recyclable cans for like $10 cheaper than the first visit. So every month I'll come out and go do your clean out your garbage cans, and it's less of a price.
Okay. So you get a discount. You get a discount on keeping it consistent and doing the monthly service?
Definitely.
So the two fears you had were overcoming the initial investment and the fear of not getting that money. You overcame that fear. The second fear you had was not having business.
Yeah.
I think that's right. That's probably the main fear of anybody, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So, how long did it take you to overcome that? Did it slow your process down?
Yeah.
Was there a certain point where you just said, screw it, I'm gonna do it? Or like, how did it happen?
I stopped thinking about it. I just did it. I just started the business, and then after the first customer, that really boosted like my thoughts about it. And then I started posting, and I kept going.
Oh, I like it. Man, don't think, man, just go.
Let's go.
Right?
Yeah.
Man, that's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, definitely. What stock do you recommend to like start out with?
Well, it depends on where you are. So investing is not it's not a cookie cutter thing. Like, what I would say for you could be different than what I would say for somebody like my age, or somebody who's, somebody who's 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. All of those could be different. I don't love to recommend stocks per se, because stocks require you to take some ownership. You have to do research. You have to look at the company. You have to see if you like the company. You have to see if you see future in this company. I mean, right now, at your age, you're probably better qualified to tell me what to buy, because you're the generation that's going to be buying the new products.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
It does.
So the real question is, I should be asking your ass, what should I be buying? Okay. So if there is anything, let me know. Like, if there's any new stuff going on, let me know. Right? Because I really mean that, because you're the generation that's creating the next, businesses. Yeah. You're doing this, and there's guys like you doing this. So when it comes to recommending a specific stock, I would say more so if you're not in a position where you can read and follow up and be passionate about a stock, then you should probably just do index funds. Those are the simplest thing that I recommend to people, because whereas a stock is basically just, for instance, Apple. And again, I'm not suggesting go buy Apple right now. I don't want to be the person who tells you to buy. I've said this on multiple podcasts. I don't want to be the person who says, hey, buy here, sell here. Yeah. It's just irresponsible, in my opinion. You don't know what somebody's journey is. You don't know where they're at. Like, nobody should be telling you to buy a stock here or there. Yeah. Index funds are a little bit different though, because with an index fund, you don't have to do a ton of research as far as like on companies, because you're investing in all of them, kind of. So, rather than putting, all of my money into, say, Apple, I could put my money into an index fund that is all of the companies in America. They even have international funds. So you could do an all market index fund. So where you basically buy the fund and you're invested in every business in the country. You could do an index 500 fund. My favorite one there is VU. It's an ETF.
Okay.
That's just the top 500 companies in the nation, right? So you're diversified by default, right? And those typically will gain, the history on those is typically between 10 and 11% over the last 50, 60 years. So you know your money is going to outpace inflation. It's going to grow. It's not going to 10x and you're not going to be a millionaire tomorrow.
Yeah.
But it's going to be slow, steady growth. So if I were to recommend anything, I would say if someone is wants to just get involved, buy an index fund. Yeah. And just load it up, because index funds you'll never have to sell, you know? So basically it's just an exact mirror of the S&P 500. So you don't have to overthink it. Yeah. That's what I would say. I would say if you're a little more aggressive and you want to do technical stocks, there's all kinds of index funds. You could do some that are like QQQM is a one where you can do it's 100 top technology stocks. Okay. You know, yeah. It's a lot more volatile. Yeah. But the average is a little bit better than the S&P 500 VU or something like that. That would just be my thoughts. Like if it were anybody starting, but then as you get older, you got to start transitioning to other stuff like bonds and different things. So somebody who's young and starting out, if somebody your age, I would say, this is what I would tell Caden. I would say just load up index funds, just stocks at your age. The reason when you get older, the reason you would want to kind of transition into less aggressive things is because as you get older, you start to have less capacity to earn money for yourself. So then at that point, you want to move your money out of some of your money out of stocks and into stuff that's a little more stable, like bonds and stuff like that. So that's why I say it can change based off the person. But for you, if I were to tell you and Caden what to do, I would say, just buy VU, buy an all market fund, and just load it up. Just don't even think about it. Just every chance you get, $50, $100, $20, 50, $500, $600, whatever it is. Yeah. The other thing I would recommend to anybody your age or of any age is to open a Roth IRA. It's a tax-free growth. So it's a really cool thing that allows you can put up to $7,000 in it a year and it grows tax-free. And to me, that's probably the most powerful investment tool you could take advantage of.
What age do you recommend doing that?
As soon as you start making money. Yeah. The only requirement for a Roth IRA is that you make taxable income. So as soon as you're making taxable income, you can do it. Yeah. So as soon as possible. And you don't have to max it out at $7,000 a year. Yeah. You could just do $100 a month to start. But I would tell anybody, I would scream it from the mountaintops, everybody needs a Roth IRA. Because what ends up happening is when you invest money, when you sell the investments, you have to pay tax, right? So you have to pay capital gains tax. Okay. You also have to pay tax on the dividends that you earn. And so with a Roth IRA, as long as you follow two rules, which is you have to have the account open for at least 5 years. You can have access to your contributions at any time. So you can take them out whenever, but you can't take out your gains until after 5 years. And then you have to be 59 and a half for it. So you want to this is something you set and let roll for long term. Yeah, okay. But you still have access to the contributions if you ever need it. So it's nice. So that's what I would recommend. I think that open a Roth IRA and start feeding index funds, man, because you don't have to think about it. And then this is what'll naturally happen, I think. And what happened for me is the more I started doing it, the more I was engulfed in it, the more I started kind of like, you know what? I like index funds, and I think everybody should have a bulk. I don't care what age you are. I think everybody should have a strong bulk of their money in index funds. But as you do it longer, you start to learn things about companies. You're like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna buy a little bit of just that company. You start to want to be in the game a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. And so there's a handful of stocks that I buy personally that I buy and I hold. I'm not a trader. I don't buy and sell and all this stuff. I buy stuff with good companies I like and I keep it. I just wait for dips and buy more. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So again, I know, I'm sorry, I have a long way of telling a short story, but the key thing for me, I think, is index funds, man. If you are going to go into a specific stock, I would just tell you to do some research. One, ask yourself why you like that product, because that's the first thing. Why do you like that product? Do you see yourself buying that product a lot? Do you see your friends and family buying that product a lot? And if that's the case, cool, that's a good starting point. Now let's look into the financials. You could open a brokerage account, you click on it, you could read all kind of research on that company. And I would just say, do a lot of research and just make sure you're comfortable. And then that's about all I could say there. Cool?
Yeah, that's cool.
All right, man. Well, listen, bro, I have to say this, man. I really appreciate you coming on the channel,
Hey, brother.
because not only do, I love your family. Your father is somebody I respect a great deal. Your mother as well. Luke as well, although he hard-headed as hell. He won a sales award, didn't he?
Yeah.
I should get Luke. I need Luke on the channel. Russ, I need Luke on the channel. He got a sales award?
Yeah, sales award. Most sales on his team.
Most sales on the team. Luke Harris, stop playing. Woo-hoo-hoo. Oh, I like it. See? All right. So we're gonna have him on the channel too. I think me and him might be reckless though. Anyway, I want to say this about you, man. As a grown man, you inspire me, man. I need you to know that. And I don't think you realize that the impact that you have on people around you. I think people like you just take action, and maybe it's hard, maybe it's easy for you. I don't know exactly what your process was, but to the people watching you, it looks easy. Okay? And I know it's not, but it looks easy because they don't have the confidence to do it. They don't have maybe the initial startup to do it. Maybe they don't have the support to do it, because I know you have a lot of support in your family, right? Which is good. To watch you as a grown man, to watch you, starting your own thing, starting your grown man journey, man, is pretty cool, especially watching you from the time you were playing City League basketball, and so I'm proud of you, man. I love watching it. All right. All right. Thank you for coming on. Tell them the name of the business again.
HarrisCleaningCo.
HarrisCleaningCo. All right. You can follow him. I'm going to have him tagged on the videos, obviously. Check him out if you're in the Arizona, or if you're in the Phoenix metropolitan area. Like, how far do you go out? I guess I should ask that question.
I go out like Surprise, Glendale, Avondale, all around there.
Most West Valley?
Yeah,
most West Valley. Mostly West Valley. All right.
Scottsdale before.
Maybe he charges extra if you want to go too far, though. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to speak on his money. But, man, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
To anybody out there that wants to start a business, I don't care if you're 17 years old or if you're 50 years old. Do it, man. Stop playing, man. Get out there. Put yourself out there. Take a risk. Take a chance. If you're betting on you, how can you possibly lose, man? How can you possibly lose? So just do your thing. And while you are building that business, when you do stack some money, make sure you invest it somewhere. Make sure you make that money grow. Because while you're building your money, your index fund will be growing your money while you're at work. And that's how you really maximize this life. You feel me?
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for joining, guys. And as always, stop playing and start stacking.